the Naganese funeral. Company member Nima was killed some days ago. A bit of controversy, some rumors swirling around their death. Nima's body was sent back to Naganese some days ago, but you all have gathered to remember Nima and to observe Nima's passing in the Naganese manner. Now, Rias, you are Naganese, and so, but you are lower caste Naganese, so maybe things are a little different with your caste of Naganese. But Nima was not. Nima was high caste Naganese, and high caste Naganese, their their funerals are grand, uh, grand events. There are even the lowest of the high caste Naganese are buried in ziggurat-like structures, right, with their dynastic lineages. And unfortunately, there's nothing like that here near the manor grounds of Avelia Prem. Here we just have the campfire, essentially, and everyone sharing stories about Nima, and eventually being invited to consider death in the way the Naganese view death. So much of life is about shedding your skin like a snake, shedding away the things you don't need anymore. And for a time, after you shed that skin, you might be a bit sensitive, you might be a bit vulnerable, but eventually your scales will harden and you will be stronger and all the better for letting go of those things. And death is just another shedding of the skin. It's the shedding of the skin of the mortal coil. And Nima now is taking a new form alongside the immortal serpents of his people. You all are invited to approach the fire one by one. Oh, we have someone showing up. You all are invited to approach the fire one by one and speak of what motivates you, what drives you, what makes you do the things that you do. And then you are invited to shed that skin, to let that part of you go. And so, one by one, you will each approach the fire in your turn, and you will speak of your drive. You will speak why you're here, why you do this work. And then, if you wish, you'll tell us how you're shedding your skin, and then you will change the nature of your drive. Regardless, whether you change the nature of your drive or you don't, you step away from the fire, and indeed, you will no longer be on the call. Eventually, there will just be one of you left. Who would like to go first?
Uh, no, I got here kind of late, but if no one else is going to would like to go first? I guess I can go.
Please do.
Right. Right. So, uh, Maria approached. I, I and I think she looks like somewhat, like somewhat awkward, but only briefly. I, I admit I did not know Nemeth, but I will speak about what drives me regardless. I, I served the the sisters for many years since I was until I learned that they were false. That this was long ago. I It was no specific incident, just a dawning realization that that faith had nothing of truth in it. And I spoke of it, and I was rather thoroughly removed of my position in the church. It was then I began learning of older ways. It I did not know about the swirling court then, but I would learn of it. From I taught myself most of my power. The it the witchcraft more than sorcery is something which comes rather naturally. But I still came to learn of uh, 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 of the swirling court, which goes beyond any sort of magic into a true power known by. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by chat. um, a, a power and a knowledge of this earth, which is all that I have ever wanted. It is my goal to 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 as I work here, build up of enough knowledge and reputation that that the hooded ones of the swirling court will permit me to join their circle. I will not shed this desire. I see no reason to. But that is what drives me here, and that is what I have to say. He bows her head and steps back.
Your story is well told, and your desire to remain in this skin is an honorable one. Your regard throughout the camp increases. You may add 1 gold directly to your hoard. And, Maria, we will see you back at camp. Who would like to go next? Vero getting called out for being on watch. Someone has to go next.
I think it's safe to say that Vera probably should have been on watch, but snuck off to the funeral to see what was going on here.
You need to get back on watch, so you better share your story.
And he'll approach, seeing Mari go first, a little sheepishly, but um, doesn't see any reason not to. He says, um, I didn't I didn't know Nemo well or at all, really. He never exactly spoke to me or knew that I existed. And to be honest, I think he was a little scary, but he was one of our band and now he's dead. So that's sad. I don't have much to offer, but I think, I came here to get away from the king, to get away from the King's Guard, to get away from everything going on in Ambret. And well, when I was out the other day with Obeah and Rias and seeing them there, well, it seems like running away may not be the answer. I came all the way out here and took up with you all, and Kingsguard found me anyway. But I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if maybe running isn't the answer. It's when that Kingsguard attacked me and tried to drag me away, and all it took was one little bit of magic, and the problem was taken care of. So maybe it's not just wanting to find out what happened. I thought that was what I wanted. I wanted to come out here and learn and explore and find out what it was that changed, and then maybe I could do a better job of running away from it. But I'm thinking maybe I don't want to just find whatever it was that changed the king. Maybe I should find it and use it. Use it to change things back or change things again. So anyway, I don't have much to offer, but I thought I'd play a little song for anyone whose heart is hurting. And he takes out his flute, and anyone here would see that it's made of a bone. It's not entirely clear what animal it came from, but he takes out this flute. He says, well, I guess there are a couple things I could play, but maybe Weep Not for Them is the right one. And he begins to play. It's sort of a wistful, pining melody, but anyone here who knows the song, Weep Not for Them, would know that the lyrics, the verses gradually shift from kind of remembering and lamenting those who are gone and those who have gone before. And as the verses go on, the song shifts into a tone of resolve to avenge them, whatever the cost, finding new purpose in a new shape, the shape of what's left behind. And Vero finishes playing this melody and steps away from the fire.
Change your drive if you're changing your drive. Your story, regardless, is well accepted, and your regard goes up within the company. Even your regard, Vero. Everyone hates the damn King's Guard. Add 1 gold to your hoard, and we will see you back at camp. Who's next?
Rhea steps forward. He has a lantern, or a candle. Uh which with his new ritual and blessings from the Lady of the Golden Lamp never goes out. regardless of the conditions. And he says, it is uncommon for someone like me to have our house name inscribed. My mother, Anarita Ilsmat, earned it by serving as the royal astrologer. The thing that most frustrated me about Nima is that they never gave their house name. To even hear it would have been perhaps dishonor, or perhaps they were too ashamed of it. It matters not. For these, we have a certain name, Ils Aban. Perhaps a better, more true translation would be the House of Mysteries. But it is used in times when we do not know the name of the house of those who fall. And so, Nima Il Saban, your star has dimmed. And so you join the great darkness in the skies. But the sages tell of Ramatil Snar and how its star will come back one day. I still hope for this. So long has it been darkened and dimmed. May you find great peace in your new body, whatever form it takes. As for me, I cannot shed this skin. In fact, I will share with you now. Shedding my skin is how I got here. And the white tiger pelt that Rias always wears around his waist. He undoes a little leather thong that holds it to him and sort of holds it up and regards it. It's not the first time I have shed my skin, and I have found what lies beneath. These marks on my body are there to remind me of who I am, so I do not forget. That's why I say my name all the time, because that is the danger that we have, that we forget who we are and why we are here and what we are doing. I worry that my mother, she forgot her name. They say that the blue ink of the Azure archives, that which is recorded in it, can never be forgot. And if she has forgot her name, I have to help her remember it, or perhaps gain a new one. But my journey is still there. My purpose is still there. The Azure archives are still there. And so long as they are, and so long as my name is Rias Maat, I will continue to seek them, whatever shape I may take. Fare you well, Nima Il Saban.
Your decision to keep your skin is an honorable one, and your regard within the company is increased. Add one directly to your hoard, and we will see you back at camp. Who's next?
I'll go next. I was both there and not there when Nima died. Disjointed from reality, I pulled myself back into the normal time just to escape those nights because I was afraid. I was afraid for my life. I am not a brave soul. Proclaimed to be one. My compatriots were also brave, but it didn't. Even in that place, I figured that they would have run instead of just staying to fight. May have taken a little while, but they could have lived. But that's another choice. He chose to be brave. He chose to wear his skin proudly in front of everyone. Many people here are scared. Many people here are afraid what others think of them. I just don't understand. I wanted to find the resting ground of the morning nights because I hoped that he would change me back into a human being. But I realized even if it might be a possibility, do I truly want that anymore? Do I want for people like myself to be afraid? I don't think so. I think the story goes is that he brought unity between Fae and regular folk. I think I shall find his resting ground, and instead of being asked to be changed back, rather bring back the hope that people can be reunited. And I think Obeha does take off their wooden mask and toss it into the fire.
Fantastic. I suppose your regard will go up in camp. Add 1 gold to your hoard directly, and we will see you back at camp. Yargosh, everyone is gone, leaving you at the fire. This fire was built a little bit outside camp because it was a, funeral that not everyone was participating in. And you're here. Maybe you're thinking of whether you're going to shed your skin or not. But then you hear, stepping from the tree line, 3 individuals. They're all wearing fox masks and red hoods and cloaks. We've been waiting to find you alone, and we have a message to deliver to you. A message from Bright Teeth Assyrio. And they draw blades. What do you do?
Yargash stands there quite calmly and has been at the back of the procession for most of the evening. Because of the darkness and him not standing too close to the fire, it might have been difficult for the others to notice that his gloves and indeed much of the forearm sleeves of his leather surgeon's tunic are slick with crimson blood, and he held his leather satchel at his side. He says, "Your arrival is quite auspicious. Indeed, I have a message for Bright Teeth Assyrio as well. May I present it before we proceed?"
Go ahead.
Yargash steps towards the fire. "3 years of my life spent in darkness. The Butcher of Barsul, they called me. In that prison, there is no distinction between physicker and tormentor. I witnessed many atrocities, committed quite a few myself. It is something I am deeply ashamed of. And I got out. Miraculously, I managed to put my employment in that hellhole to an end. When I left, I was informed that my father had passed, and I alone inherited his debts. Not just any debt, but a debt to Bright Teeth Assyrio. A debt that would be connected to a token, a reminder. My bound, the boy named Lucky, who only eats red meat. He sits in my tent. A curious little thing. And I have dutifully paid my dues to Bright Teeth Assyrio. I've sent my coin. Any hard-earned treasure I've come upon, be it something I wrought with my own hands or was given for my services rendered, I have sent it to Amberet to frivolously pay off a debt that I did not dig for myself. And I have spent a great deal of time thinking on this, because I realize I escaped. Indeed, I left Barsul because I wanted to break free of the yoke of cruelty. But this debt is a predatory thing. It is a leash that binds me to a practice most unpalatable, and its reminder, well, it is not my skin I shall be shedding, but a shedding nonetheless. And he opens his leather satchel and pulls out the expertly flayed and peeled skin of the boy Lucky. Like a serpent, I reject my debt and return you to flame. Throws the skin onto the fire.
Fantastic. Very metal. Please tell me how you're exposed and roll weak point.
I am only armed with a surgeon's blade and am otherwise not equipped for combat. My weak point is a 6.
Not great.
No.
Their endurance, their total endurance is 8.
Okay.
Go ahead and do combat 1.
Combat 1. Love to see it. It's a 1.
Give me the first part of the combat.
I think as the skin gets thrown onto the fire, it actually like completely like douses it. There's a final just blanketing over it, and darkness plunges into the scene, and Yargesh crouches low, and the 3 masked figures like begin to like fan out, striding around as they're adjusting to the low light. But so far, there is no exchanging of blows or attempts made, just cat and mouse.
Well, let's see. Combat 2.
5.
Keep it going.
Okay. One of the figures stalks around near where Yargash was standing by the campfire. Their fox mask catching just the faintest of light from the embers that peek through, and Yargash lunges out of the shadows feebly with his surgeon's blade and tries to drive it defensively and ends up just wrestling around with this figure. I think Yargash manages though to break free of their grasp, swinging his leather satchel up and knocking the fox mask away.
Nice. Combat 3.
That's an 11 with one hit.
Finish it off.
I will absolutely be marking one of my pieces of armor here. Wait, do I have a piece of armor or do I just have the one? No, I have my stiff wool cloak. Yeah, I do. All right, cool. So in that case, knocks the mask off that first one, and before they can like react, the blade just catches a glint of moonlight. The throat is slit. Blood spurt. They slump to the ground. The other two figures with their blades drawn are flanking Yargash, and they're like stalking towards him. He looks back at the camp, sees that he probably couldn't make it if he ran, and no one could probably arrive here if he yelled out for help. So he decides that the surgeon is quite independent here, and he just stands there waiting, the blood still dripping from his dagger. One comes at him. He throws himself back. He's not a fighter. He's really taking the defensive here. And after some like exchanges of like swipes that he managed to duck out of, it is a stab to the gut, 3 stabs to the gut, just rapid like stabbing right, and twisting the blade to really just ruin up their guts. And facing down with the last figure, they drive the blade in like a like kind of like an upward arc that nicks part of his clothing, but he was moving pretty quickly. He manages to eventually stab through the slit of their mask hole into one of their eyes. They yell out in pain and actually like stumbles back, the knife still sticking out of the mask hole, as Yargash, just like panting, sweating, looks at the bloodied mass of flesh cooking on the campfire, looks at this figure, another representation of his current fate, and he just and just lunges forward, tackling them to the ground. They are feebly beating at him, but the thick woolen cloak he wrapped himself in to stave off the night's chill just takes the brunt of the blows, and he just like rips the knife out of the mask slot, grabbing them by the side of the head, and just begins to bash them against like the rock at the edge of the campfire here until
You don't get to add any gold directly to your hoard, but you might be able to take whatever traveling money they have. Please roll gold 8.
Gold 8. 0.
Naturally. Thank you very much. I will see you back at camp.